Yo, what's going on, traders? Cleveland here. Time for another Monday market breakdown. You're gonna have to excuse the raspiness, okay? I got a little bit of a cold over the weekend. Might be something with my sinuses, I'm not sure, so bear with me, all right? So we have some interesting setups this week. I'm looking for some buys, but one thing I'm gonna do, which is a little different than what I usually do in the breakdowns, is I'm actually gonna add my last week analysis. So I'm gonna start doing 30-second snippets of what I mentioned last week and just start throwing them in here so you guys don't even have to, start running around YouTube to find my old videos. So Euro, I'm looking for a buy this week. Last week I mentioned I was also looking for a buy. You can check it out here, okay?
Basically see what we get. I'm not doing anything, folks, until I can get back up into the at least the 0680s. Okay, so I'm gonna set a little alert, and maybe if I can get to the 0680s, I can start maybe taking some positions. Start small and just kind of size into it. If I can get back up into the 07s, 07 flats, then I'll probably throw something on there that actually matters, and then we can ride it back up into structure. Okay, so
there was just a lot more momentum on that pair than I was expecting. Okay, we really hung out and broke that low there, and again, you want to have some kind of idea that the market's going to retrace, but again, the sentiment, the underlying move could definitely cause things to be a lot more fluid and a lot more liquid than you can expect. Okay, but the way structure looks right now, we're sitting at a very powerful level at the 0570s. That's a couple of years old. All right, so it does look like we may actually have some kind of buy side momentum. We're gonna see. I'm gonna go into the charts, all right? But I also want to shoot you guys over to the Aussie Analysis. Aussie, I predicted a sell last week, and that's what we got. You guys can check that out here, okay?
Nice for us to kind of get us a little bit of a situation. Maybe we could pop up a little bit, and I would love to take a potential buy up into structure there. And if we can hold and we can get some, candlestick formations, and we get some structural patterns, we get some price delivery that makes us assume that we could fold over here, we could also get in the sell and break the low. All right, so that's what I got for the Aussie.
So even Aussie, in terms of that sell, was a lot more liquid than I expected. I mean, I really assumed that, we could come down to 38.2, but I'm looking right now, we're past that, all right? We might even come to this 50. Okay, but even same thing with the Aussie. We're gonna go over to some of the price action, and I want to show you guys how I have a buy setup here, potentially. Okay, I'm not gonna start doing anything in terms of the trigger until I really start to see some momentum. Last week, you can see how I didn't get an entry on that euro at all. I didn't see that the market didn't ever consolidate to the 7 flats. So that's a cool thing about my methodology. I have to see the market show me what I want before I start executing, okay? So that's how everyone's trading really should be, if-then statements, okay? Instead of me saying, I think the euro's gonna shoot up, I didn't hop right into the market. I had an idea, I had an inkling, or I had a directional bias that I was gonna push the upside, but I didn't get executed because my strategy allows for me to have a little bit of a cushion in terms of, hey, look, if this euro's gonna have the momentum that I'm looking for, we should start to see some buy-side momentum around these price levels, all right? So now, the really nice analysis last week for that pound, which was with the trade that I was in all last week. I think I only made money on the pound last week. You guys can see I called the move up into the 125 flats. Really, really rock solid move there. And then we ended up coming down and breaking a low, right? So at the moment, this pound looks fairly overextended. Go back and go check out the, here's the 30-second snippet, and then I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I'm looking for this week, okay? So check out the 30-second snippet.
Maybe we could potentially see a continuation on this pound dollar, but we might have to see a push higher based off of this leg here. So we pushed from 25.52, and we've came as low as 24.12. Right now we're sitting at 24.45. So we got a 100 pip down move. Again, pound can do that with no retracement, right? I mean, absolutely. But I do think that we should look at this price action. All right, so we definitely should see this thing push potentially back up into the 05 flats, the $1.25 flats, and then maybe we could roll over. All right, so that's what.
All right, so boom. Okay, so at this moment, this pound, we've seen a pretty large retracement again, and it's also at a monthly level. Okay, but it's interesting. It did break a monthly level at the 2014s, and now we came and sat down, pushed down to the mid 23s, 23.50, and now we're back in the 2014s. So I do have a setup here that could show me that we could get some upside momentum on this pound, that we could get some upside momentum on this Aussie, and we could get some upside momentum on this euro. That's if we actually do have a little less sentiment and a little bit more liquidity-based market structure here, okay? And outside of that, one thing I wanted to mention was, if you look at all three of these different pairs here, they're reacting very strongly to what people assume to be the actual interest rates, and they're trying to price that in at the moment, right? So again, a lot of the hoopla, a lot of the political nonsense is kind of getting out of the way, and people are actually looking at this this US dollar and saying to themselves, like, look, we should start getting some more strength, outside of all the different things that are happening in terms of the Syria attack, in terms of the North Korea situation, we should start seeing some upside momentum on this US dollar. So that's why we kind of see a spill here. And I see some more downside potential in pound, but I think the Aussie and the Euro are due for a little bit of a retracement. I think they're slightly overextended, okay? So I'm going to go into the price action. Remember, folks, this is an intra-week analysis, and structures can combine to give me a completely different idea. That Euro analysis actually changed my bias. I was talking to one of my guys, Kyler, and I mentioned to him, look, man, if we don't start to get some buy-side momentum on this Euro, we're probably going to end up breaking this low here, and that's exactly what happened. So on Monday, I was like, hey, we should buy it up. But by Wednesday, we didn't get the move, and I'm like, hey, look, liquidity is an issue. I mean, if there was a problem here in terms of liquidity to the sell side, we should have already seen an up move, but there wasn't. All right, there was obviously just a break in momentum and then a continuation back down into these major structural levels. All right, so let's pull over to the charts. Let's go over our three. Do I have a surprise? Do I have a nice trade for the week? Stay tuned, watch till the end, and I appreciate all the new guys. We have over 100 people coming in a week. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Everything's kind of going up. That's awesome. Continue to do that. Thanks very much. All right, so guys, let's go over into the charts and see what we got. All right, guys, let's get into these charts. So first, starting off with this euro dollar. Let me pull over to the weekly. You guys will see what levels I'm talking about here. All right, so again, you want to have some kind of recency bias in terms of price action, but you can't deny, weekly levels here. All right, so I'm definitely looking at this level to be a potential. We just have to see how things hold up. I will have a new entry a little bit lower, but hey, look, it's good that I'm not trying to cover any kind of positions right now. We just didn't get the entry last week, and hopefully we can execute on an up move here. All right, so it's a really simple trade, to be honest with you. If I pull back over, let me go back to the daily here. Boom, and I want to start drawing up some fibs, things of that sort. Try not to overcomplicate things too low. So come to that 2017 low, and as you guys will notice, we're kind of pinging around here, down here at this 61.8. So, I really want, this should definitely be a zone. All right, so imagine this to be a zone. I'll draw it up for you. And again, I want to see price action potentially starting to consolidate down here at these lows, and then hopefully we can start getting some rips back up in. All right. And that's what I'm looking for. So again, 61.8% retracement is the last ditch effort for your trend traders here. And if this thing is going to obey this kind of lower high scenario, I'm not saying that this market is making lower highs. It looks somewhat consolidated, but I am going to say we do have a large sell-off here. We might have a lack of liquidity down here at these lows. I'm just trying to track and make sure that again, I'm not guessing here. All right, so you have a very late entry up here at the 0640s, mid 06s, and that's not something I'm looking to do personally. But if I pull over into the 4 hour, we start to have a little bit of better entries. All right, but obviously a little bit more risk on the table as well. But as you guys will notice, we're hovering right here. We're hovering right here down below this 05 level, 06 flats. All right, so maybe I can get a buy entry around these levels, start sizing in once I see some kind of continuation. Why not take this thing initially up into the 06, the mid 06s, okay, so 0640s and whatnot. All right, so again, we can draw up another little zone there to show you guys exactly where I might want to execute on that. But not asking for much, just really asking this thing to come back up into the 50% retracement there. Okay, so again, remember, folks, this is on the precipice that this here is our low. All right, if this isn't our low, then we're just gonna have to kind of keep redrawing our fibs. We might have to come down here into the 05 mids. Okay, so 0550s before we get our up move. Because again, that's where the 61.8 is, and I kind of see a little bit of structure down there. So again, if this isn't our low, we might consolidate around here, and that might be what pushes us out. All right, so could this market completely just continue to sell off? Of course, absolutely. Technically, there's no reason why, if I pull over here, that we just can't continue to just be in this little range. There's definitely price and availability down here in these lows. And we could definitely continue to see that happen. And I'm not saying that I don't want to short this euro. All right. I think shorting the euro isn't a horrible idea, but geez, we have to catch a good entry, a feasible entry, and at the moment, I don't have anything. I don't got anything. Again, breakout's fairly risky. We could just take a breakout of the low here, or again, if this is a fast market, you'd actually want to start selling here at this 23.6. But again, I think we could have a little bit of a pullback, and since we could have a little bit of a pullback, I would like to take this thing up a little bit. All right, so want to see how price action adds up. We got the euro open tomorrow at 3 o'clock. We had a very slow day today. We didn't really move anything or anywhere at all. So, again, let's hope we kind of get some volatility on this pair there. All right, so pull it over to this Aussie dollar. Aussie is looking pretty good. again, for a nice little buy up into structure here as well. All right, so as you guys notice, we're at a fairly strong level there. Last week, I mentioned that we could come down and have a 100% retracement, and we sure did. Amazingly enough, folks, I didn't catch an entry. All right, so if you're in that broadcast, you'll kind of hear and see what I'm in. And the only thing that I was in last week was that pound. But other than that, maybe we could have some kind of little pullback here. I guess you guys would call that a double bottom, something like that, right? So maybe this double bottom will hold off, and maybe we'll get some upside action potentially back up into the 76 flats. All right, so again, if this is a trade where we do have a little less sentiment and a little bit more liquidity issues, then we can start to get some upside moves. All right, so my entry would probably be up here in the 75.20, 75.30s. So unless we get to the 75.20, 75.30s, I'm just kind of going to be sitting on my hands and waiting for things to kind of pan out a bit. I don't have an entry as of yet. So 75.20, 75.30s is where I'd like to start buying this thing up, and it'd be great to push it back up into the oh man, let's see, that's 100 pips away. I wouldn't mind it. It's asking for a little bit, but maybe we can start taking profit along the way. I definitely see that we could get into the 75.70s, 75.60s. Okay, so it'd be nice to get up into that level, which is a good 60 points, and then we can continue, potentially looking for some more shorting opportunities. As I mentioned last week, this Reserve Bank of Australia, they want to continue selling this thing off. And, because of what? Because of that tourism number. You also have some of the commodities not doing so hot in the past quarter. So, again, maybe that could give us a little bit more of a sell-off on this Aussie pair there, all right? So for this pound was a really nice move, really nice moves last week. Came right up into that 25 level right there, 25 flats, and we kind of spilled over, which is what I mentioned. So I was in both of those positions. I was in the up move, and I sold it off coming up here at the high there, boom. And now we kind of sat back down. So I was actually wanting to play that pound up this morning, but I was really busy kind of chopping up some other things. I wanted to take this breakout here, nice little flag break push to the upside there. So that would have been a nice little intraday play. But I looked back over at my charts, and my lady told me, hey, look, that pound already rocked. And I was like, oh, damn, all right. So, now we just got to sit on our hands. But again, folks, this pound is amazing. I want to show you guys a monthly on it. Very impressive monthly. Notice here, folks, notice the price structure here. Really right around this 23s. 23 flats to 24s. We have a really small zone, 100 pip zone there on the monthly. But folks, it is impenetrable. It's hard for a monthly close to happen down there at those lows. So if we start getting some, we actually have some news coming out tomorrow at 4:30. All right, I think it's the pound CPI. That could give us a little bit of a rocket to the sell side or the buy side. We have to see what the number is. But I definitely think we could get some kind of volatility. My initial idea was a little bit of a push back up. So when that number comes out at 4:30, we might be able to get a push back up into structure there. And then, again, I'll have a limit on that thing, honestly, right where it's at. So I'll be placing my limits at the 25.30s, and I'd be hoping to take this thing back up into the consolidation here, 25 back up into the 25 flats, and then maybe we can roll over again, at least the 24 mids, okay, 24 mids. So maybe, again, a quick 30 on it. These aren't the most extreme, largest swings right now, but, again, folks, this pound, look, if you swing this thing, you probably got stopped out, hard to swing unless you were really catching these tops there. All right, for the Aussie was a very nice swing. Had a couple of guys in that thing last Thursday, this price structure there. So, again, that was a beautiful swing. And the Euro, definitely a beautiful swing. But for this pound, again, you want to be a little bit timid. This price structure isn't really the best for trying to hold things, especially if you're trying to take some intra-week profits, because it'll definitely knock you out. This thing is, pushing all over the place. So maybe we can get a little bit more of a buy, push up into the 24.50s, maybe up all the way up into the 25 flats. And that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I'll be trying to do tonight. I'll set a limit, and we'll see what happens. All right. So, guys, remember, your profit. It was always my motive, and it still is. Okay. So if you guys need anything, let me know. Make sure you guys get in that rookie room. And again, folks, we got a lot of things coming out. A lot of awesome things coming with the firm as well. Going back, actually, I have a video dropping on tomorrow. I shot something up on Saturday, so I'll push that out tomorrow on hard work and trading. All right, hard to actually conceptualize a sound strategy when you don't have a solid foundation. You can work as hard as you want, but again, you don't throw footballs and go try to go to soccer practice. All right, there's no edge there. Okay, so you want to make sure you're in the right realm of what the markets can do, and you want to scale into adopting a method that is true to the market itself. Okay, so all right, guys, look, if you have any questions, let me know. It's Cleveland. I'm out.